Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to parse CSV files and how to store the data into a Postgres database. Comma-separated values. This is the name of CSV file format. Usually, comma-separated values file stores tabular data in plain text, where each line of the file is a data record. Each record consists of one or more fields separated by commas. That's the most important thing. The data are separated by commas. So what are we going to do is that we are going to implement an application that will take a CSV file that consists of hundreds, thousands, or probably millions of lines of data. And we are going to store the data after parsing the file into a database, which is the most important thing to do. So first, I'm going to talk a bit about what are the tools that we are going to use. We are going to use Node.js for the processing, for the parsing, and we are going to use Postgres for the backend, for the database. I'm assuming that you already have installed Postgres on your file system. If not, um, you can look it up, PostgreSQL, okay, which is in PostgreSQL org. Okay, you can go there. You can choose the download version you want. Postgres exists natively on Linux Debian, which was my main operating system until recently. It exists on Mac OS. It exists on Windows. So if you, I suppose I think most of you have a Windows machine. So probably you need to go there and you need to download an installer, which is you need to select your version. You need to select your operating system. Let's say 64-bit. You can download it now. You run the installer, and the installer comes with the graphical application called pgadmin, which is responsible for managing your databases and your roles. For me, I have a role that I have created for myself. It is a super user role, and I use it mostly for tutorials. So you create, after you do all this, after you install Postgres and you create for yourself a role, you can create for yourself a database where you will be storing your tables. For the purpose of this tutorial, I have created a database called testingdb, and in the schemas, there is one table called FL insurance sample, which are we going to use for this specific tutorial. I will be talking about this table in a bit later. Now, this is for the backend. As for Node itself, we will be needing two modules. If you go to npmjs.com, which is the famous Node.js repository for packages, we will be using first off fast CSV, which is a very popular CSV parser. Okay, you have it here. We will be npm install it, and we will be talking about its usage in a bit later. And you need a connector for the Postgres. The connector is PG. It's called PG. If I go there, just type PG. Okay, here you have it, the first one. Okay, this. Again, you install it by typing npm install PG. I have bash here. So if I check the directory, okay, I've created a directory called parse CSV. I have already prepared a package JSON for you, and I have a directory called CSV. In that directory, if I go there, CSV, and do ls, I have one file called FL insurance sample, and this is the same name of the table that I have created in Postgres. This file was downloaded. If you do, for example, CSV download. So the first link that you see is this one, sample CSV data, spatial key support. If you go there, these are like spatial data, etc. And you can download the file from here by clicking this link and save it into your computer. Okay. So for now, we will be okay. Let me check. I'm going to open Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to open the folder Parse CSV. Okay, and as you see, I have this CSV file already loaded. We are going to parse it. We are going to extract partial data. We are not going to extract everything because it will cost us a lot of time, and it's not the point of the tutorial to do a complete implementation. We only want to explore how to extract data and store that to database, which is the most important. You can do with the rest by your own. For the purpose of this tutorial, if I go to package.json, you see I have, if you run, okay, inside this folder, if you, let's check, all right, if you do this, if you do npm init, okay, npm will generate this file for you, okay, until here, okay, and you need to add the dependencies yourself, like this way, okay. You can either do it manually, well, manually, like, you can either do, for example, npm install save, for example, pg, okay, which will save pg into the dependencies here, or of course, and you can do the same for fast CSV, okay, or you can do this manually by yourself, okay, and then after that you will type npm install, and that's it. What will happen is that Node will, or npm, will install all the packages into this folder, okay, and you will have your project ready for running. So if I do this, okay, here you go. So I have a folder called Node modules that appeared suddenly. This is the module that contains all the modules. This folder is the folder that contains all the modules that we will need for our project. In this case, we will need fast CSV and PG. You don't need to worry about this folder at all, but you need to know that it exists and what is its purpose, right? So now I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a application file, which is called app.js. You can call it whatever you want. Index.js is a convention. App.js is another convention. Since I'm not going to talk to the internet, I'm not going to do any request response handling. So I'm going to call it app.js. This will contain the main application instructions. We need also another file called credentials.js. This file will contain configuration data for connecting to the database. I will be coming back to it in a minute. So, and another file which is called pgdb.js. And in this file, here is the thing. You will have to go to PG, to the package documentation that we have already watched on npm.js. There are some examples there. You need to copy some of them. You need to copy this section, boolean example, because we will be using that for connecting to the database. So if I copy this, slowly. Yeah, until here. Yep. Right. Yeah. So, all right. So I will be pasting this here. Requires PG, and it will require also our credentials. Credentials. Require credentials. Okay. Now, before I continue, I'll be going to credentials.js, and here's the thing. I'm going to declare a variable called credentials, and it's going to, it's going to contain the configuration information that you will need every time you will connect to the database. The thing is, sometimes you might want to change your credentials. For example, you are now using a certain user and you want to switch users. So in that case, you want to switch the credentials as well. So you can do that in this way. So for example, the username will be Edward. The password, whatever you want. I'm not going to show you my password, but you know what to do. If you once you create your own user, you can put your password here for that user, right? And server. Your server could be either a IP address specifically somewhere on the internet or your local host in that case. In this case, we are using the local host. And you need to say what is the name of the database that you are trying to connect to. So it's testing DB. All right. Now, after that, you will have to export this information so it can be used in other places, right? Now, since I'm going to insert my password here, since I'm not going to show you this file anytime soon, right? So, here is where you insert your credentials and you say the user is database here. Here is the password. And here is the server. Yeah. So by default, the port is 5432, and the maximum connect clients are 10. The idle timeout is 30 seconds. You can do also something else. For example, you could declare environment variables in your system where you call them by convention, PG user, PG database, PG password, etc. And if you don't provide this configuration structure, then the module will read the credentials from the environment variables. This could be good depending on your application. Okay. In our case, we are just trying to be as simple as possible. So this is done. This module exports two methods. The first one is query, the second one is connect. And I'm going also to module export pool equals pool, because I'm going to need this variable later on, right? So this one is okay. Apps. All right. Okay. PG, PG, credentials. All right. Is okay here. So now we are going to use a couple of modules here. For example, I'm going to call the file system module because I'm going to use that to read files. So var fs equals require fs, that's it. I'm going to require also the CSV module that we have imported. So require fast CSV. And of course, I'm going to need the database connection information. So require, which is EGDB. This is local, right? Oh, sorry. Okay. Now I'm going to test whether the connection is okay. And if not, I'm going to report an error. So if error, please tell us what's happening. Okay. Now I'm going to, okay, well, sometimes you don't want to read all the lines that you have in your CSV file. Sometimes you need only the first, for example, 10 lines, 100 lines, 10,000 lines. Okay, you don't need, or you don't want, for some reason, you don't want everything. Okay, so how would you do this? In this case, I'm going to declare a counter simply. Let counter to say that this counter should be a 0. In some CSV files, if a CSV file is well formed, okay, well formatted, then the first line should contain the headers. Okay, the headers are the column names, which can be very handy if you want to create a table in your database automatically, okay, or programmatically. For example, in this case, you would declare, for example, a header structure. You would say that it's an array, and then after that, after you read the first line, you start pushing the column names inside this header. Okay, I'm not going to use this at this moment because I already know the column names because I have the file. Actually, is this okay? So you see, I have already the column names here. I know them. So this structure is useless at this moment. If you probably want to do some parsing on yourself or on your own without using a module yourself, you could say, like, for example, I have an array of data, okay, which is going to contain each line that I'm parsing, okay, and you are going to parse each line by yourself. But since we have already declared the modules like fast CSV and other CSV files, then this is also useless at this moment. But there are some times where you want to do everything by yourself. So it depends on your application. Now, so what we have done, we have the file system, we have the CSV, we have the pool, we tested the connection, we declared a counter. Okay, so now I'm going to declare a stream, CSV stream. I'm calling CSV stream because this is the stream that I'm going to use for reading the data. And this is going to ask the CSV model that I have declared up there, here, okay, that it should take a look at a certain path. This is a method called from path, okay, and here you show the path to your file. In that case, it's the current file, the current directory, okay? And inside that current directory, look please into a CSV folder, okay? I've used the double backslash because I need to escape the backslash itself. Okay, otherwise, if you write this, you will get an error. So you have to escape the backslash once. So again, and now the name is FL Insurance Sample CSV. So FL Insurance Sample CSV. Yeah. Okay. Now, once you have done this, you will call a there is an event that will happen. Okay, the stream after opening the file will start reading your data line by line, and that will emit a signal or an event called data. So in this case, you will say, okay, when I'm reading one line or one data line, I need to do something with that. So I'm going to call a callback, okay? And in that callback, I'm going to receive a record, okay? This is the line that you are going to use. A record is an actual data record. So in that case, you're going to say something very nice that is provided by the fast CSV module. You are going to say, okay, when I'm reading one line of data, please stop here. Let me do something else. So you are going to say CSV pause. Okay. This is awesome because you are reading one line of data and you are telling the module to wait a bit until you do some processing. Because here you are going to do whatever you want. You are going to parse your record. No, the parsing is already done by fast CSV. So you are going to store the data, do some processing on the data, print the data, calculate something from the data. Okay, it depends on your application. In our case, we are going to say that if our counter, okay, is less than 10, we are going to read only first 10 lines. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to read the properties of the record. Here is the thing. If you tell fast CSV that you are going to read that your file, the CSV file, has headers inside, which means the first line. Okay, if the first line here corresponds to headers, okay, to column names, then usually a record becomes an object. This is something to remember. Okay, and if record is an object, then these column names become properties of that object. Properties that have values, and those values are the corresponding data, right, for the respective line. In that case, for example, if I say let policy ID, okay, I'm declaring a variable called policy ID that should correspond to this. And this one is simply record policy ID. That's it. I have the data. Okay. Now I'm going to say let state code equals a record. Oops. State code. Okay, I'm going to read the policy ID, the state code, the county. I'm going to, there are geographical data, for example, point latitude and point longitude. I'm going to read those as well. I'm going to read line and construction. Those are descriptions of the structures and the material that is created using it. Okay. And point longitude is this, and point latitude is this, and point longitude is this. For example, these are geographical data. So I'm going. So I think this is enough, because otherwise the tutorial will take a lot of time to finish. So I'm going to declare county. I'm going to declare point latitude. I'm going to declare point longitude. Point longitude. Right now we also line. Yes, line, and lastly we need what's called line construction. Construction. Okay, so now I have the data, and I need to send the data to the database, which is pool. We have already that pool object, and we have the query. The query method will contain the query statement. But before I do that, I need to explain something about the table itself. Okay, so this is my table. This is the FL insurance sample that we have created for this specific reason. Okay, and I've created using this SQL statement. I've told Postgres, please create me a table which is called FL insurance sample. It will have these fields: policy ID, state code, county, point latitude, point longitude, line, construction, with the only distinction that policy ID is an integer and is at the same time a constraint and a primary key. If you have a table, if you have in a relational database system, a table that has a unique field usually tells the database, take a look, this field is unique, and make it, call it a primary key. So you can identify every row in this table using that primary key. Okay. So for example, you have customer number 1, customer number 2, customer number 3. Okay. You know that customer number 1 is not the same as customer number 3, for example. Okay. Otherwise, the number 1 or 3 wouldn't be unique. In this case, the primary key in each table should be unique, right? So for the rest of the fields, the state code is text, the county is text, the point, latitude, and longitude are level precision, the line and construction are also text. So if I go here and I execute this, if I tell the database, please return me all the data that you have from this table, from FL insurance sample. Okay. So as you can see, I have absolutely nothing here. So which means the table is empty, and I'm going to fill it now with data. So if I go back, here is now we need now to provide the statement for the database. So the statement for inserting data is the insert statement. So you say insert into table name, insurance sample. Okay, and now you say the name of the columns that you want to store data into. So in that case, we have policy ID, state code, county, point, latitude, point, longitude, line, construction, and since I have a string, I need to escape it somehow. So I need to go here and say values. Okay, you provided the column names. Okay, you provided where you want to store the data. Now you need to provide the data itself. But in this case, we need to provide the data as parameters. Okay, so we say the first parameter for the first column, the second parameter for the second column, third, fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and that's it, I think. Yep, right. And now after that, you provide the actual data inside an array. Okay, so you have policy ID, state code, county, point, point, two, oh, go and construction, right? So this array contains data that will go to each respective position. For example, policy ID will goes to parameter number 1, state code will goes to parameter number 2, county to 3, etc., etc. Okay. There is one thing also here to take care of, and that is okay. Yeah, I had an extra space. All right. So after that, after you provide the data, you need to provide a function, a callback, that will do on error stuff. Okay. In this case, okay, you will say if error, please let us know. Right. So this is one thing. And after that, okay, yeah, you increase the counter here. Okay, all right. And after that, you tell the CSV module, okay, you have the CSV pause here. Then you tell the CSV module to resume. All right. So you have read one record. You told the parser to stop here. You did some processing. You inserted the data into the SQL database. You increased the counter because you want to read only 10 records, not more, or a million, depends on you. And after that, you told the parser to resume. So after that, the parser will read the next record, and it will do the same thing. It will pause, you do the processing, you increase the counter, you continue. Okay, and here you emit a signal, you respond to an event called end, okay, after you have done your processing, after you have read the file. You probably want to say something. For example, console log job is done, right? Okay, and in case you have an error, okay, Right. You tell the console to show you the errors. Right. And I think this is probably everything. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So now we can go and try to see Node JS. Oops, CSV pause. You got to be kidding me. Where? How is it? Oh, yeah. Sure. Sorry. So CSV stream like this. Yeah. CSV stream. Is it the big one? Yeah. Right. Okay. CSV stream. CSV pause. All right. Let's try again. Whoops. What happened? Oh yeah. Okay. Just a second. Okay, it was an error in the name of the database. All right. Come on. Null value in column policy ID violates not null constraint. What are you talking about? Policy ID. What? I don't have any null values. Hmm. Insert into policy ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is yeah. Damn it. Mm, Although it should not be the cause, but we'll see. Hmm. Right, let's check it out. Oh, still a problem. No, undefined. Why? How is that even possible? Do yeah. Um, data function record. Oh yeah, uh, probably. Yeah, yeah, that's it. I forgot to say that the headers are true. Headers true, because otherwise this doesn't make sense. Okay, headers. True. Yeah, maybe that is the cause. All right, let's check it out again. Come on. So okay, all right. So now it's okay. And if I go to my database and execute this query, as you can see, I have all the files, all the records. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. So if I do this, okay. All right. So I have the table empty, and if I go to this code, let me do this. Okay. I'm not sure how long it will take. You know, let me not risk everything. Let me just say 100. Okay. Okay, let's try this. We are going to read the first 100. So if I go here and execute this query again. All right. So I have now 100 records. So now you know how to parse CSV files and how to store your data into a database system. You could improve on this tutorial by, for example, including a way to deducing the data type of each column, or including a tool to extract the column names. But that's not exactly the point of this tutorial. The point of this tutorial is to show you how to parse the CSV files and how to store the data into a database. Right, so this concludes this tutorial. Thank you and have a nice time.